We're so fucking pumped up. SGA, Player of the Week in the Western Conference after a hell of a road trip, and we're eyeing the All-Star break with incredible anticipation. SGA is about to be on the national map as an MVP candidate. Get ready for it, everybody.
Yeah, like the reality of what he's about to do after the All-Star break, I don't think anybody truly understands. That's what I'm excited about. That next gear that we've all been waiting for, that we've all been anticipating for him is coming, guys. And one of the reasons I want to say it's coming is because if you think about what Shai is able to do with the amount of minutes he's playing, right? If you just add a few more minutes in there, sprinkle a few more minutes in every single game, we're going to see those numbers jump really fast. So that's where I think it's going to be at. I think if we recognize that Shai is going to be averaging 32 to 34 points a game after the All-Star break, it's going to push him to that level. Because if he's averaging that, there's no way in the world that we're not going to go like what? We got 26 games left. We're going to go like 20 and 26 or 20 and 20 or 20 and 6, you know, like winning 20 games and losing 6 games in the last stretch here. And if that's the case, that's 10 and 3, you know, that's pretty fucking baller.
That would be great. That'd be great. It also seems like a far-fetched thing, but one of the reasons we think we can see that is because of the emergence of Jdub. We've seen Josh Giddey continue to up his game, and we added a new player that a lot of people maybe don't know a lot about, but we call him Super Dario.
Yeah, listen, he's 28 years old. I think there's a lot of misconception about what type of player he is. A lot of it is that he hasn't been in the proper system for the last few years of his career. If you want to go back to his rookie year and his second year in the league, the most effective years of his career, the old system in that Philadelphia system was drive to the hole, dish, look for the open shots. You know, it was very much of a basic system, but he fits so well in that. And for being a first round, I think it was the 12th pick of the draft, right, like there was a lot of expectations that he was going to continue to improve. But then he kind of started dealing with injury, and then he got traded, and then the way the NBA was being played in the systems that he was being forced to play in with Minnesota and Phoenix, it just doesn't fit like what he's really good at. And if you look at his best years and what he was able to do was the assist, man. The passing is so on point. Some of the passing that he is able to do and recognize who's open and who's going to be open is really powerful. In his first year, he averaged 2.2 assists a game. His second year, he averaged 2.6 assists a game. Now, he started averaging less and less as time went on, and that's okay. But it has everything to do with the system that he was being forced to play in, guys. That's it. There's nothing else about that you should be able to read into. It's just when you're forcing a player to play in a system that's more focused on screens and one-on-one, like, you know, Phoenix is, you know, somebody like Super Dario isn't going to be able to get that, you know, truly flashy that he needs. And with this system that we run, it's all about spreading the ball out, taking that open shot, which this season he's shooting 39% from three-point range. You know, like he's taking 1.4 a game, so he's truly effective there. And then on top of that, like he gets to the hole, he gets to the free throw line. You know, he is 250 pounds. He's a big body inside. And yes, I get it. He's only 6'10 and a half-ish. But to me, that's still a bigger body than we've had down in the post, you know, besides Muscala, that can play there. And we need this type of player. And, you know, I'm throwing this back to you, but do you feel like this is something that Sam Presti would have done, sending Moose out, if he didn't already have a wrap on Dario?
That's a good question. I really don't know the answer, but I do think the fact that, in a way, we can say we lost Moose and we got in Saric, which are different trades, but that's how it all ends up. Plus, we end up with 3 second-round picks, which we know we value at a high level. But Saric, for me, the reason I think he's a better fit than Moose in our system is because he's more of a slasher than Moose. Moose has the ability to space the court, and he's always hunting for his pick-and-pop three-point shot. And we found a way to really work with him on that. I think Dario has that game in him, and his stats do kind of show that. The other thing is he can get downhill and he can get to the hole, which Moose really couldn't do. And for that reason, I anticipate that there's going to be a lot more opportunities for Super Dario, I'm sorry, than there was for Moose within the system.
Sure.
Like you mentioned, early in his career, he would be within the offensive flow, getting downhill, kicking the ball, finding the ball in an open shot on a weak side and hitting it. That's what we do. That's our entire system. So it does fit better for him, and he fits better for us. We'll see. I mean, we can't assume it yet. And because he's 28, even though nobody wants to hear this right now, there could be a chance that if he signs another team-friendly deal, which I think he signed 3 years, $27 million previously, if he signs something like that, then we could keep him until he's Moose's age for another, 3 or 4 years. And then we're talking about having a really good, valuable role player within the system who fits the model of playmaker, shooter, and ultimately it's like that Sam Presti guy. Like we've tried to go get those guys from outside the NBA sometimes, from Europe and stuff like that, and they haven't always fit. Right now we have a guy who's already fit in the NBA. He's from Europe or Croatia, and he has this opportunity to really up our level of offensive flow from side to side, get downhill, knock down shots. It's what he does, and it's what we need.
Yeah, and every NBA championship team needs a player that is brought in, as you will, somebody like Big Shot Rob, somebody like Steve Kerr, somebody like Price that comes in and helps, the Chicago Bulls or the San Antonio Spurs, win championships. And Big Shot Rob, right? He got his name, right? He comes in, helps San Antonio win a championship, and then he goes and helps the Lakers win a championship, right? Like his whole purpose was going out there and hitting the big shots, like getting a steal, hitting a big shot. And to me, like recognizing which players have that capability early in their careers and recognizing that, this is the type of player that we want is crucial. And for Sam to be able to sit down and say, okay, if we're going to get rid of Mike, I need one of these 3 players in exchange in order to be able to fit that slot that Mike brings. And the fact that Sam that's how he was able to break this down is truly impactful and powerful. And I'm excited about it. I feel like him at the power forward position and what he's been playing a lot this season and the last couple of seasons isn't something that really truly fits who he is. He likes to play that center position as more of a joker fit. You know what I'm saying? Like he likes to be able to pass the ball, throw it around, get in the flow, drive to the hole hard, and then pass it last second. Like he's incredibly effective like that. And I think that's why when it's adding a player that we talked about before the trade deadline, we were like, we aren't going to add a player unless it's somebody that isn't really on our radar, that fits the system better than the current player that we already have. And that's how we're going to be able to step out of this. And I think that's exactly what we got in return. We got, in return for Mike and Baisley, we've got Dario plus 3 second-rounders. And I think that's a great return for what we were able to send these guys to championship caliber teams that they can compete for a championship this year.
Yeah, dude, it's great to see. We've seen Sam Presti try out players like Svi Mihailuk and Gabriel Deck and different players like that really never ended up really fitting in. So there is a chance with Saric that we get to this point where
Moses Brown,
where we're like, well, he had the half the year, he didn't fit, and we're moving on. But there's also a chance that we look at it and say, this is the type of player that we think is really important for our other young players to have as a mentor, similar to Mike. Nobody thought when we got Mike that Mike would be through this time that was a transition through the team, and he was really going to become the backbone of the squad. Well,
you're right.
Here we are. We're getting a younger version of Mike in a big way, I think.
Yeah, and I think Dario, the way he talks, the way he explains himself, he's had a lot of great coaches now, and I think this is one of those things that I look at him coming into the system and understanding he's not going to be one of those quiet leaders, as you will say. He's going to talk. He's going to be, communicating on defense, making sure.
Tell me that joke you were saying, though, who he looks like, though. Come on. That's the funniest thing.
All right. So I'm looking at him, right? And I pulled him up on, you know what? I'll pull it up right here on ESPN, guys, because his ESPN picture. I'm
going to spoil your joke if you don't say it now, bro. You got to say it now, dude. 3, because people are listening, dude. They can't see.
The love child of Poku and Steven Adams, guys. Yes or no? Because
Yes.
to me, that's all I see
Yes.
every single time I look at him right there is all I see is Steven Adams and Poku.
I see Poku's
so,
eyes, and
if you guys aren't
like,
watching, go to YouTube
playing.
and pull it up. I'm showing the picture right now.
I see I see Adams' facial hair, and yeah, bro, he looks like Steven Adams and Poku had a baby.
It's so great,
shit.
dude.
Good call. All right, so we're excited about seeing. So we're gonna have to come up with a proper nickname for the Poku Adams baby, but here we are.
We had a couple
we're
people
loving
on
this.
our live show last night that had some, pretty fucking hilarious shit to say about what should be called. I think it was George that said it.
Yeah,
Fucking
we
love
got
you, George, man. Awesome.
some great shit, dude. We had a great time watching the game last night. Almost got the W, but we're gonna be back. We got one more game against the Rockets coming up, so we want to do that one. And then we got the All-Star break. We got some really fun stuff planned for the All-Star break for you guys.
Dude,
we're
it's
gonna
gonna be fun,
taking some
dude.
big
We got
picture
some
looks.
great episode plans.
Right, but in the meantime, let's talk a little bit more about the game last night. Right?
Okay.
Jdub.
All right.
Jdub. Okay, 5 dunks. I think that's off of my recollection, but I think
I had
2
4
or
or
3
5,
of them were on people. That one dunk he had at the end of the game, where there was, I think, 7 seconds left. We didn't call timeout. He went full court, dunked it, and then we were able to get the turnover and get a shot at the end to tie it because of the really great play calling and everything. We didn't hit the shot. We didn't go to overtime, but still, you got to love what Jdub's doing. It's like coach has finally gotten through to him that he needs to be aggressive, and we're starting to learn that what that looks like is a lot more than we could ever imagine.
Well, we've talked about this before is, when a rookie comes into the year, like we have these type of expectations for them to come off the bench, to earn their way in the starting lineup, if they're good enough to, but a lot of times you get players like Trey Mann that will come in and that they need more time. So they'll go in there and they'll play a few games and then they'll have to pull out, and develop them on the things they need to get better. But what we're seeing out of Jdub is like every single time Coach Mark, Coach D gives him a little bit more leash and says, hey, go do this, go do that, right? Like he blows everything up out of the water that I could ever imagine that he would do. And I can't help but wonder if this is the beginning of the NBA recognizing that, Jdub is for real. Like Jdub isn't somebody that people should lay down their expectations on, because if you look at what he's done already in rising up that NBA rookie rankings to the 3rd rookie at this point, that's just, dude, that's the year 1.
Yeah.
And that's how much improvement he's done. We've never had a rookie go that far. Even think about Josh Giddey. Josh Giddey was averaging triple doubles and doing all this other stuff, but every single time the NBA ranking came out for the rookies, he still found himself at number 6.
Mm-hmm.
Jdub has completely demolished that. Why? Because everybody in the NBA is recognizing that Jdub is not this, number 11 pick. Like everybody fucked up by not picking Jdub.
Yeah. He looks like a future 28, 7, and 5 type player. That's what he looks like. Now, people will be like, well, you can't have everybody on your squad score 28, but it's like,
well, when you have an efficient shooter that only takes 17 shots a game and scores 40 points, yeah, you can. That opens up for anybody, man. That you know what, Jdub, go take 17 shots. If you can score 28 points on 17 shots, and you can take your 17 shots. Like that, bro, anything's possible because we're learning how to get to the free throw line, which makes it impossible for teams to guard us. They can either A, let us have wide open layups, or die on the free throw line. And I think that's the thing is we're still getting that respect from refs, but when that respect happens, bro, it's going to be insane.
Yeah, and Jdub adds a dimension that we just didn't have. Somebody go out there and attack the basket with aggression, throw everything down, and really, the way Shai does it is he's so smooth, and it's great, but Jdub is looking to embarrass people. And so that combination leaves people feeling like if they don't defend the basket, they're fucked. And then you see him go out and take the step back 3 he was doing. It was crazy.
His body size.
Yeah.
How do you explain that? The way that his body is huge. I've seen NBA players as their rookie years come out, and usually their rookie year, they average adding 5-10 pounds after their rookie year and muscle and just, bulking up. Look at the progression on Shai. Look at the progression on some of the other guys that we've seen through the leagues. I keep on wondering, is this the type of body that's going to be built like LeBron's?
Damn, it seems like it seems a lot more like LeBron's and Kobe's.
I'm not saying
right?
I don't want to compare his game, right? But you think about how stocky and how thick LeBron bones are. You know, like he was built to play basketball and play for the longevity and play lots and lots of minutes. And then you look at Kobe, you know, who was a little bit thinner, and yes, he was stocky, but he was a little bit thinner and you know, took a beating a lot. So I'm wondering, the way that his body is if we're not looking at somebody that's going to end up being like 6'7", 6'8", and be that LeBron 235, 240.
Dude, and this is when we get really carried away, because we can look at Jdub and be like, hey, he projects to be a lot better than people realize right now. We can even do the same thing with SGA. Like, we're sitting there being like, hey, he's going to up his average after the All-Star break. We saw him do it last year. We feel like this is his, you know, he's ready for this moment. And I think people are maybe hesitant on that. But then we look at Josh Giddey, and we've been talking a lot about how Giddy has this path that looks a lot more like Magic Johnson or like Luka Doncic. Like, there's only been 3 players since Magic Johnson was drafted to average at least 17 points, 5 rebounds, and 7 assists as a 20-year-old, as a point guard. And we're talking about Luka, Magic, and Josh Giddey. I get that people are like, oh, he's missing the it factor to be one of those guys, but they're just wrong, because they don't know what young stars look like. They can only notice them when they've already established themselves as stars, and then they go watch the videos and like, oh yeah, we should have seen that coming. Well, we're telling you right now, if you don't anticipate this, you're going to look back and be like, fuck, I missed it.
Yeah, Josh is special, man. Like in every way that he moves out there and everything that he does, it's just special. Like there's when we use names like Magic Johnson, we don't use these names lightly. We're not doing this just to be like, we're going to use this name just to be funny. No, we're using it because how many guards have been Josh Giddey's size at year 20 in the league and average what he's averaging? And there's not many. Like Mark said, there's 2 guards, Josh Giddey and Luka. All right, they're both around, what is Luka, 6'8", right? So they're around that size. So you know what I'm saying? And if you want to look at Luka, listen, he's people will call him a point guard because he's been forced to play point guard. But I get it. You know, like a playmaker's a playmaker. You know, LeBron played point guard for a lot of his career as well. So, you know, it's whatever. But I look at Shai, I look at Josh, and I look at Jdub, and I say, out of all these guys, the one person that, in order to make it all work together, that we have to have is Josh. Yeah. He's the key to it all. I mean, he is, I mean, like, he is everybody. Like, in order for you guys to have like a functioning company and a functioning business, you need a financial advisor, somebody that can take care of your finances, right? That you can trust and give all your money to and be like, all right, he's going to take care of me. I don't have to worry about it, right? That's Josh, man. Like, these guys got to give Josh the ball and say, you know what, Josh is going to take care of me. He's going to find me open when I'm open. I don't need to worry about this. And knowing that you have somebody like Josh out there, man, it means everything. Like, everything. And we're not even getting into Chet. We're not even getting into these other guys, because to me, it's this 3-headed monster that's going to be the real issue to the NBA for a lot of teams to try to catch up of. Because when you're having 3 guards like this, you got, think about this, Shai, 6'6", 7-foot wingspan, okay? You've got Jdub, 6'6" or 6'7", 7, was it 1?
2.
Wingspan?
7'2", yeah.
7'2" wingspan. And then you got Josh, 6'9", with a 7-foot wingspan.
Like, I didn't realize he had that big of a wingspan. That's crazy.
I think he has like 6'11". Guys, I'm adding an inch or two because I always do it. Always add an inch or two, guys. Always add an inch or two. Never sell yourself short.
I went and made a list of the players that didn't do this. What he's doing
Please
at 20.
Tell me. Like, I
did play at 20. Derrick Rose, John Wall, Kyrie Irving, Tony Parker, Russell Westbrook, Chris Paul. We also had Trey Mann, John Morant, Anthony Edwards, Lonzo Ball, Tyrese Halliburton, Cade Cunningham, and LaMelo Ball all played at 20 and weren't able to do this. You got Luka, Magic, and Giddy. And I get it. People are like, oh, Giddy's still not like a sexy pick for the future, but it's because they have preconceived notions about this team and about him. It's not about his play. Watch his play and you'll understand he is the future of the league. And speaking of the future, bro, We got big time play from Jwill. We should just give him a lot of credit for those charges he took. And we got Dort back out there taking charges, and we got Kenny out there taking charges. I mean, our defense.
We weren't
great.
playing well. I said we weren't playing well. We were struggling. Okay, guys, we were really struggling last night. But because of those charges by Dort and Jwill and the steals by Jdub, like, it was able to keep us in the game. Kenny stepping up too. Like, there was a couple times that so close to Kenny getting some charges that we needed too. Like, we had a shot to tie it with Isaiah Joe at the end. And the reason we had a shot to tie it was because of the way that we fucking hustled to the very last second. Most teams would have given up. Down 5 with 10 seconds to go. But you literally get Jdub gets the ball, drives to the length of the court, dunks it with like 3 seconds. Like in 3 fucking seconds, guys. It was insane. And then we get the stop. We were able to turn around and get that trap that it should have been their ball, but we'll take it.
Yeah.
Unbelievable, Mark.
Crazy.
Like and the thing is because it's these guys, the heart, the hustle, what Coach D is teaching these guys in the locker room and outside of the locker room, and how to be fucking men, how to be men. You know what? You're down 5 with 10 seconds to go. You still got a fucking chance. Get out there and do it. Doesn't call timeout. Well, I don't think we had a timeout, but
we did have one at that point, and he saved it.
There you go. Why? Because he trusted the guys, and he wanted to let them know that he trusted them. And what did they do for him? We got a shot at the end because of it. Like, what else? I mean, this is what happens when you show young men that you trust in them. And you heard what Dario said about what Coach D and how he sits there and how he has to have that personalized relationship with each of the guys. And you're starting to recognize that, like, this is a whole new level. You know, it's a whole new level. And bro,
well, it's happening at the right time, dude.
We lost. But that was a hell of a defensive team. One of the best in the NBA and one of the best defensive teams we've seen all season. And the way they were out there playing, the way that Ingram hit the shots that he needed to hit, Dort was right in his face. I've seen like 3 of them that Dort hit right in his face. And it's like, all right, you know what? We got beat. That's okay, because that was playoff atmosphere. Fans were all there. It was a lot of fun, man.
It was, and there was no doubt for us, or I think anybody who was watching with us on YouTube Live, that this team was going to make a run, and they were going to try their best to close that game. And it was all the way to the last second, but we did. And that confidence kept everybody around, and we were having a great time watching the game. And that means a lot to us because we've seen this team get into big deficits. We've seen this team overcome big deficits, and now we expect this team to overcome a big deficit. And if you look at the game, you're like, yeah, we did lose, but it was because we ran out of time. Like, we were making a massive comeback, and we were figuring things out, and they were hanging on for dear life. And we'll figure it out. We'll start figuring it out instead of the third quarter and the fourth quarter, in the first and the second quarter. But at this time, let's give them a lot of credit. Brandon Ingram knocked down some massive shots to end that game for them, like to win it. But if he had missed one of those, we steal it. If anything goes a little bit different, we're in a better spot. But we're competing at the highest level. We got a game against the Rockets. We're pumped up about that. We hope that you'll join us for the live. And then it's All-Star break, and we got some awesome stuff planned for you guys. So continue to join us that. We'll see you then. Thunder up, everybody.
Love you guys.